Man, what's going on YouTube? Thank you for tuning in to another episode. We covered LMP2 and kind of how I didn't like spec racing, but how much I enjoy the class. Speaking of that, there's actually an IndyCar game coming out by the iRacing team. So maybe we'll drive the iRacing IndyCar and the AMS2 IndyCar or whatever. But anyway, LMDH, man. Slash GTP slash hypercar slash whatever you want to call it. It's the most diverse that overall class has been for victory at Le Mans. So I don't know this hybrid systems and stuff on Le Mans Ultimate, and frankly, I think I need a new wheel. Still got the Turn Racing CS to fully manage all of that stuff, especially in an endurance environment. So we're gonna hop on Automobilista 2, AMS 2, and there's 6 of them. There's the Valkyrie, the BMW, the Porsche, the Cadillac, the Alpine, and the 963. There's 6 of them. Anyways, so we're gonna compare them today. Stay tuned. All right, we are now on the sim. So what I'm gonna do is 20 minutes plus 1 lap at Daytona with all 6 cars, and we're just gonna rank them. For they do all have a different feel to them because the engines. Now all the LMDH cars share the same hybrid system, but what I like about AMS2 is you don't have to manage that. That is something that they're supposed to be working on. But the Lamborghini was actually the car that I could not remember off the top of my head. And that just goes to show how forgettable it is. It is a cool car, don't get me wrong. And it actually inspired my last LMP2 video. But that program is in a real dark spot, and I don't see it continuing. Right now it's on hold. But I think that was their unofficial way of announcing it. But anyway, we got the Alpine, the Aston Martin, the BMW, the Cadillac, the Lamborghini, and the Porsche. Like I said, we're going to do 20-minute races at Daytona with all of them. And reason I picked Daytona is because, I do think driving cars in low downforce exposes more strengths and weaknesses of each chassis. I thought about doing Spa, but high downforce for the most part. Most cars, they're pretty easy when there's a ton of aero in there. So I like to run low downforce. But anyway, let's go ahead and hop on track. And actually, I'm gonna do a low downforce and a high downforce track. 20-minute race plus 1 lap. Got nothing but time, so why not? All right, the Orica. Now this is the fun car. Keep in mind I did keep the default setups. Strong points, I would definitely say the front end is amazing on this car. Similar to the Acura and iRacing, which is also an Orica chassis. It feels the most open-wheeled in that regard in the front end. Something that I didn't care for. Well, I'm kind of neutral about it. I ain't gonna say I didn't like anything about it because it's a fun car. I caught myself smiling with some of the dive bombs I was making. But the engine, I don't think the engine is... It's not my favorite. It could be a gearing thing, but I felt like I was in the wrong gear. And especially on the low downforce track, the V8 cars they'd reel me in or they'd pull away from me. Now this is a 3.4 liter single turbo. I prefer V8s, but it does drive really good. So let's go ahead and move on to the next car. All right, Aston Martin Valkyrie. I will say The engine is no joke in this thing. And it's a different car though. It's definitely different from the rest of them. It almost feels like a ground effect car in the way you drive it, and that's not very surprising when you consider how much faster it is than everything else in the class at its maximum design. Adrian Newey designed this car. For those of you who may not know, he's the F1 guy for Red Bull, now at Aston Martin. But this car, it feels like a ground effect F1 car in the way that the faster you go, the more it just sucks down to the ground. And then it has an engine to complement it. It's not a high revving, low torque engine, but it's definitely one you want to ring out. You almost want to drive it like 8/10, 9/10, versus like taking it by its neck and throwing it around. Because you really got to be smooth with it. Fun car. My adrenaline is actually high. I think this would be the one at Le Mans, just because it does feel like it has the top speed advantage. All right, BMW. It's one of those cars that's subjective, I would say, because the front end's not the best. But I love that. Right now, understeer and oversteer, you got to manage both of them. I'd rather have understeer go on the grass than understeer, and I'd rather have understeer and go on the grass than oversteer and spin the car around, especially in low downforce tracks like Le Mans, Daytona. Getting on that throttle and being able to stay there is very important. So we'll go ahead and go on to the next car. But yeah, I definitely like the BMW, but like I said, it's more of a subjective thing. Potato. So anyway, this is the as I go wide at the bus stop. Anyway, we just going down the order. This is the halfway point, actually. All right, Lamborghini. I mean, I think it looks the most like what LMDH is supposed to look like, right? It looks exactly like a road car. And I was curious to see how it did compared to the others. But honestly, the engine was really good. The aero was really good. It didn't oversteer too much, and it understeered less than the BMW. So, if you're wondering, like, is the Ligier terrible? That's the cool thing about sim racing games, right? Or simulators, racing simulators. It's always going to be its best. I've never had any reliability problems when racing online. But a lot of the time I race offline. I just do stuff like this, just hang out. It's a good car though. I was surprised, to be honest with you. Even though I shouldn't be, because I drove the LMP2 Ligier, and it was also good. But all right, Porsche 963. The engine is money. I'm gonna try to not sound biased, but the chassis is money as well. So like, there's the different engine layouts and displacements. So this has the biggest V8 that is also turbocharged, and the turbos are nestled in the middle, so there isn't a lot of exhaust travel like some other engines. So it feels punchy down low, but it also has good legs up top. Just a fun, fast car. So let's go ahead and keep it going. All we got left now is 963 at Spa, and then the Cadillac at both Daytona and Spa. We'll keep it rolling. All right, Cadillac, the bump start king, right? Um, man, it's so close between these cars. It's so close between these cars, but the Cadillac strengths. I mentioned the BMW having a little bit of having some understeer. This is the same chassis, so that's the thing about LMDH. There are a couple of manufacturers that share chassis. Um, BMW and Cadillac both share a Delara. However, the Cadillac has a hair less oversteer or understeer, but you also got to manage the oversteer that comes with that. But with that being said, I actually went quickest in this, and I surprised myself. So that kind of tell you where its engine is so good. And look at me not driving good, but its engine is money, man. Um, that is actually the last car, so now you get to see my face for part of it while I talk about the class overall. I'll throw some gameplay and some of the highlights from certain cars. All right, guys, we're back. Get to see my mug again. Now, these cars are so close together that it's almost pointless to put lap times. So I'm not even going to do that. Of course, I did record them for my own sake, but let's go ahead and get into the rankings. Last place, somebody had to lose. I actually got the Alpine, and main reason for me, it oversteered too much. Now keep in mind, I did not make any adjustments to any aero. I didn't even touch the brake bias because the idea was to sit down, drive, get up, switch, drive. That's it. But with that being said, if you're a suspension guru or aero guy, you can make adjustments to any car because they all do have their strengths. But the Alpine for me, I had to keep having these hero saves. Meaning I'd get oversteer, I gotta swing the thing on wheel to catch it. And I just didn't want to deal with that. And it's actually weird that the Alpine is even in here, simply because Alpine their cars aren't sold in America, so there isn't a reason for it to really be in the sim. But it's actually funny, right? Because the Acura is what should be in the sim because it does race in IMSA, but the Acura and Alpine share a chassis, and they're kind of both steps beneath Formula One. So the Alpine engine is a 3.4 liter single turbo. Shout out to 2JZ Stroker Kit guys, but it's actually a single turbo 3.4, and then that's for Formula 2, and its counterpart is the Acura / Honda, and that's actually the IndyCar 2.2 liter twin turbo V6. So both turbo V6s. I just thought that was a funny note. So that is last place. But like I said, these cars can all be adjusted. Second place, or fifth place, I guess, I actually got the Lamborghini. And it's not a bad car. I will say I did really like the way the engine performed. If you want to compare all the twin turbo V8s in here, I would say, and it's kind of explanatory within the engine, but it felt like the smallest displacement, but it was so good up top. It felt like 600cc, where you take it all the way out, those turbos push it, and it felt the most F1 like in that sense. And I mean like turbocharged, high revving engine. Engine is actually a little different from the Tamario road car because the turbos are on the outside, and the hybrid is different. While the Tamario road car, the turbos are up top, and it's a beautiful engine, so I gotta put these pictures in here. But the Tamario, it's a hot V, and the hybrid stuff is on the engine. It also felt like the low downforce was the weakest, probably in the entire class. As far as like the high downforce being really good and the low downforce being kind of whack. Fourth place, I actually got the Aston Martin, and that's the one true hypercar in my opinion. It's the one. It's the most like GT1. It's the most like what that class was supposed to be. But it's actually crazy to think about how much quicker the Aston Martin AMR Pro is than the GTP slash LMDH slash hypercar version. It felt like a ground effect car, and it didn't really like bumps, but if you can hold it and not break traction, it's fast. Like it's really fast. But like again, Adrian Newey designed it, and then they watered it down to make it work for IMSA and LMDH. Third place, and this is when it really gets tight. Cadillac, the bump start king, right? Everybody loves the bump start. I'll throw some equals in there, but and this is very subjective. You can take it with a pinch of salt, of course. It oversteered just a little bit more than the BMW for me, which understeer and oversteer. But I actually crashed the Cadillac. It got away from me a couple times, but I actually went fast at spotting it, and I went pretty quick in Daytona as well. So it's a very fast car. You just have to, for me, I just got to be careful when I'm driving it. So second place, BMW. The BMW has always been my favorite. I just love how they look. I love the lights. The engine is like, it's good enough up top, but it's not gonna like rip your head off down below. And then the aero balance is what I like about it, because I can combat some understeer. It's not like atrocious, but man, I made up the most positions in the BMW. I didn't spin out in the BMW, so I got that at second place. Loved it. My notes right here. There's 3 twin turbo V8s. The Lambo is the 3.8 liter. The BMW is the 4 liter, and the Porsche is the 4.6. And you really can feel that difference. So picture like a 600cc bike, a 750cc bike, and a 1200cc bike. Between the 3 of them, that Porsche is number 1, and the engine is just perfect, man. So, I'm gonna get nerdy on you guys, but you're here for a reason. It has these 2 fat turbos, and you can just see them right there, and they're actually inside the V. So the exhaust travel is like instant. There is no looping. It's not tubular. It's straight up, straight back into the engine, and there are huge fat turbos, and you can feel that because it has enough punch to hang with the NA stuff out of the corners, but because it's still turbo, it has some good legs up top. So that is actually my favorite in the class. If I had to pick one, if I had to join a league tomorrow, I would still go with the BMW, simply because that understeer is like a safety net. You can go. I'd rather wash out than spin the car around, or have to do these big counter saves and just lose all my momentum at a track like Le Mans, at a track like Daytona, coming out of the bus stop. That oversteer is just, if you can't confidently turn that traction down and whole shot out, You might like the BMW, but man, fun. It's about fun at the end of the day, and putting together a group of cars. I really want to put together a league and do like 2 cars to a team, and just I really want to do a league with some people. But with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I took my time with this one. I had some fun. I guess I should rattle off my fastest laps. So I went quickest overall at Daytona, no, at Spa in the Cadillac, 205.344. I thought I was gonna have it locked up in the BMW at Spa. I definitely think I could get 205. At Daytona, 36.9, 36.8, 36.9. Had to come back real quick. I looked at the phone again. I actually went quickest in the Alpine at Daytona. So I did go quickest in the Cadillac at Spa. I actually went quickest in the Alpine at Daytona. And I think that just goes to show like how crazy, and it's literally just, that's the fun part about the class, because I did not care for the engine on that Acura, on that Alpine. Love how they sound, but I didn't care for it to drive with. And I went the quickest in it at Daytona. So adding to the outro, that just shows how tight these cars really are. Because if you would have told me that was going to be my fastest lap at Daytona, I would have like, no. I really would have thought it would have been the Porsche or the BMW or the Cadillac. I would be curious to do it again in Aston Martin. But anyway, back to the video where it's daytime and I'm in a gray shirt. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. Like I said, we have a good time over here. Comment your favorite GTP car, and then, or actually, you know, leave a comment and comment what hypercar isn't in this sim that you wish was. Now, hypercar only meaning a chassis made by a manufacturer, so that doesn't include LMDH, meaning Peugeot, Toyota, Aston Martin's already in here, and for some reason I'm drawing blanks. But anyways, stay tuned for more content. I've been alternating between making solo videos and doing podcast stuff. Apex Vision out, guys.